This is the Kizer Inversion, a Dirk Pinkerton design. It's a pikal-style folding knife. Pikal refers to tip down, edge in way of holding and using the knife, and it's a tactical way of holding and using a knife. You don't quite often find yourself holding it like this, but that's what this is for. It's a self-defense fighting knife design and platform, if you will. This, I think, is a very elegant way of making it a folding knife. I remember when this first came out, looking at it, like, I couldn't quite, like, I know that that's a finger choil and not like a thumb. Like, how is this supposed to, it all looked, well, inversion. But I traded a knife with This Old Sword Blade Reviews, Dave, for this, and I'm very happy with the trade. This has a flipper tab, which is very subtle, rounded off, and not too overt, but it works great if you just follow the front curve here. So you can use this like a flipper. It comes with two different thumb plates. This one is optimized for waving or pocket deploying off the seam of your pocket. This works great. You can spidey flick it, you can do all that, but this awesome little brass piece here, I love the way it looks. But when you carry this in your pocket, the pocket clip is there, pocket seam is there, you pull it out and boom, you have it open like this, and you can just drop it into your hand. So different ways to open this. It's S35VN. It's very, very, very sharp and very pointy, but nicely reinforced with that pretty, wedgy kind of triangular geometry there. Axe-like geometry, but it's very, very sharp on the edge. It has this very nicely terraced titanium handle. I really like the milling in this. It feels very pleasing. It gives really nice grip, and it looks great. And looks are important. It's got, you can set it up left or right carry, and it's got, you can clean it out because it's open flow and all that. And you got the sculpted pocket clip, all the usual kind of stuff. It's just in this weird and inverted platform. Very nice little jimping lines on the lock bar access there. Oops. Yes. Practical? Actually, yes, it is, because this knife works pretty well in hand like this. It feels pretty comfortable like this. I'm not sure if it would differ with the other thumb plate. Frankly, I haven't put the other thumb plate on, but the angle of this thumb plate and the leverage you get between here, here, and here really gives you surety of hand, and you could use that because that blade curves down to the point. You could use that much like a Wharncliffe and just use that in utility cuts with that tip. So it is practical, even though it looks like a very specialized weapony kind of knife. It is a very practical knife. I've carried this quite a bit since I've gotten it. Of course, I always have to carry a sort of drop point or clip point or something that sweeps up a little when I'm carrying this, because that's just the kind of silly rule I create for myself. Anything else you need to know about this? No. Titanium, lock bar insert, frame lock, sculpted titanium, swap to the other side. All right, so let me show it with some other knives, and let me know what you think. Here it is. Here, we'll start with size comparison, and we'll use the usual. The Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So blade length is very, very much similar. Obviously, the handle on the Paramilitary 2 is much larger, like it is for most. A little closer to this. So there it is, kind of right in the middle, between a 3-inch and a 3.5-inch blade. Here it is with the only other Kizer in my collection currently. I've had some really cool Kizers here that I got rid of, and now I wish I had them back, though they helped me get some of the knives I have now that I would never give up. So, this is the Roach by Matt Degnan, I think, designed this. Cool knife. They just did a re-release of this with micarta handles and 154 cm. What's this? This is, this is N690. Okay. All right. Here it is with its inverse, a Karambit. So the Karambit, you're doing this motion, clawing forward and swiping across and using that ring to flip it out this way and do pull cuts. And so it's going exactly in the opposite way of how you're using a pikal-style knife, which is coming like this, like a cat's claw, embedding itself in what it's going into and pulling, and using that natural arcing motion of the elbow and shoulder and hip and wrist, and using it to capture and split as you pull. So it's a very effective and pretty nasty concept, with the tip down and the edge in. I mean, the Karambit is pretty damn nasty in the right hands. I would submit that it takes a lot more training and work to get really good with a Karambit and not destroy your finger. You can really mess up your finger in these Karambit rings if you're not careful. And there is a difference between training with your friends and doing cool tricks and then actually, actuating that stuff in the heat of the moment, or so I'm told. And I just feel like this sort of caveman motion, this sort of gross motor motion that you would get in a sort of sewing machine type stabbing attack with this might be your better option if you're under the gun, don't have much training, and aren't someone who get in these sort of life or death confrontations all the time. You might want something that takes less skill, is all I'm getting at. And like I said, I've spoken to a number of experts like Ed Calderon and Michael Janich and other guys who know, and the rings can be a real problem. They can be. They're not always. I mean, in very well-trained hands, Karambits are nasty, but you can jack up your finger with this. In a dynamic situation, you can really jack up your finger having it trapped in there. All that being said, I still love Karambits, and I like fooling around with them, fiddling around with them. However, they wouldn't be my first choice for self-defense. Actually, a pikal-style knife would be. All right, so do I have any folding pikal-style knives? Yes, I do. I do. Here is the Emerson Elvia. This is a collaboration with Ed Calderon. That's his Sneak Reaper logo there. And, oh boy, I can't wait till they come out with the waved version. They're going to, they will at some point. I'm not sure why this isn't waved. It really, really, really merits a wave. This is the kind of knife that you're supposed to draw quickly and use in self-defense. Why doesn't it have a wave? But, some people have done workarounds. Flippin' Bean makes one, makes something like this that fits on the Emerson Elvia, so you can wave it out of your pocket. I mean, man, it's like a gimme. I don't know why they didn't put it on there, but I just love that shape and that angle. The angle's a little bit different. Here, we'll hold the handles. Yeah, if you can see, if you hold the handles kind of equally, it's a different angle with this one. You're kind of reaching forward a little more, and and without stating preference, it's just a difference. But actually, stating preference, I do like that better. I like that angle. All right. Oh, here's another one. Here is a concept, but the reason I'm showing this is that it's a Dirk Pinkerton design. And it's also one of my favorite. I love this knife. I love this knife. This is one of my favorite less expensive knives in my collection. It's got this awesome micarta that, it's just gotten so nice and grippy, and yeah, I just really like this knife. Very, very good. He's got really cool designs. As a matter of fact, I like Dirk Pinkerton's designs so much that when I was at Blade Show, I bought one directly from the man himself. So this is a handmade Dirk Pinkerton knife, and yes, it's a pikal-style knife. And I saw this from across the crowded room, and man, I beeline towards it. And I'm like, if anyone else touches that, there's going to be an issue. There's going to be an argument or a rock, paper, scissors or something, because I saw that yellow and red and orange micarta, and I saw that shape, that angle of the handle to the blade 30 feet away. Oh, this thing is amazing. Who was I talking? I was talking to Sean Kendrick, knife maker Sean Kendrick. Great guy, makes amazing knives. And he was talking about Dirk Pinkerton, or I mentioned Pinkerton, and he said, man, that guy is a master grinder, and kind of was since the moment he set foot in front of a grinder. And I thought that was a really cool compliment to come from such a talented person. Another cool thing about his table, Dirk Pinkerton's table, was all of the other, he does a jambia, jambaya. He does a lot of really interesting ethnic designs, but in this modern tactical format. And oh man, Drool City. All right, here it is with speaking of Drool City, here it is with a Bastinelli Creations Anomaly. Very, very light, very thin pikal-style knife with the ring. I got to say that angle is so perfect because you can close your fist and it's all aligned properly. Sometimes people will put the loop or the hole that you put your finger through right at the top, and it's like, what are you supposed to do with it? You can put your thumb through it, but anyway. So there's that, and then two other pikal-style knives, the Copus Designs Elvia, different spelling of Elvia, but also a collaboration with Ed Calderon. You can see the angle is pretty much the same with these two. The two Ed Calderon style. And then this, so what this is sort of the Copus Designs version of, that's 154 cm blade steel, and it's got a nearly full tang with this plastic material, which flares out and has a little bit of jimping. This is a great knife, and I'm going to reapply. I'm going to put some jute twine on there. Not for nothing. But so what this is a high quality version of this, and this is the Victorinox fruit knife, and it's a small kitchen knife that Ed Calderon popularized. The carry of, you take it, you kind of bend the handle with heat and put a little groove there in the finger for indexing, and there you go. You've got yourself your little pikal-style knife. Cheap, very sharp, thin, useful. You can pick them, you can find them in lots of places. You can go to a grocery store and find this. Maybe not a Victorinox, but a good Grips or something. And you get it, and you can turn that thing into a wicked knife. I've seen guys on Instagram, someone, I can't remember who it is now, using the Pioneer Woman branded knives as self-defense knives, just kind of making some alterations. And I love that. I love that. So there you have it. Those are all my many of my pikal-style knives. And I like comparing them to this because this is just such a dressed up version with the titanium handle and the really cool brass pocket deploying thumb disc and the milling and everything. So classy package. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Kizer Inversion, designed by Dirk Pinkerton. Thanks for watching.